Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later.
Good morning, one and all. Welcome to this momentous occasion of learning. I, Kovic Srivastav, student manager at Balaji Institute of Technology and Management,
And I, Asta Jetlia, student manager at Balaji Institute of Technology and Management,
will be your masters of ceremony for today.
We'll ensure that every aspect of this event unfolds seamlessly with utmost enthusiasm.
We would like to welcome you all to Ignite Spark Your Potential guest lecture series. Our guest today is a remarkable individual who made an impact through his journey. It is indeed an honor to have Mr. Shashank JainDirector TaxGrant Thornton Bharat, and Mr. Yatha Jawar, People and Culture at Grant Thornton Bharat, who is a true corporate leader and a visionary. May I now request student managers Om and Adiba to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Shashank Jain sir and Mr. Yatha Jawar sir.
Sir, for us to thrive in a very competitive world, Sri Balaji University Pune has an excellent academic program with inbuilt rigor and resilience and a process-driven approach.
We would also like to extend our greetings to our Chancellor, Sri Balaji University Pune, Professor Paramanandan Balasubramanian sir, Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. G.K. Shirude sir, and all the directors and deputy directors, deans, faculty members, and to all our student managers.
Discipline, dedication, and determination are three values on which Sri Balaji University Pune provides a career-specific contemporary education with a strong emphasis on practical training and overall development of the students.
Sri Balaji University Pune is very proud of its constituent institutes, namely Balaji Institute of Modern Management (BIMM), Balaji Institute of Technology and Management (BITM), Balaji Institute of International Business (BIIB), Balaji Institute of Management and Human Resource Development (BIMHRD), Balaji School of Arts and Sciences, Balaji School of Law, which produced exceptional student managers.
The prestigious Times of India B School Survey has ranked Sri Balaji University Pune as top 12 B schools in India and ranked top 4 among private universities. Sri Balaji University is known for its 100% placement record, as more than 300 companies visit our campus for internships and placements. The intense grooming and the maximum learning hour record have enabled our student managers to emerge as a leader in corporate world.
On this gracious occasion, we fondly remember our founder, late Professor Dr. Colonel A. Balasubramanian sir, for his vision to impart quality education to youth of our country.
As we deep dive into the realm of learning, prepared to be inspired, uplifted, and driven to new heights. May I now request our student manager, Sai Kulkarni, to introduce our guest.
Thank you, Astha. Good morning, everyone. I am Sai Kulkarni, student manager at Balaji Institute of Technology and Management, Sri Balaji University, Pune. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our distinguished guest for today, Mr. Shashank Jain, Director of Tax at Grant Thornton Bharat LLP, and a respected chartered accountant with nearly a decade of experience in tax advisory and compliance. Sir currently leads the US Tax Compliance Division at Grant Thornton Bharat LLP, where he plays a vital role in managing compliance tax landscape for clients with revenues exceeding $1 billion. He is known for delivering high quality tax services, leading with care values, and fostering exceptional client satisfaction through stakeholder focused service delivery. With a strong academic foundation, including a bachelor's in commerce from Symbiosis International University, a master's in auditing from the University of Pune, and credentials from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Sir has cultivated deep expertise in financial reporting, compliance, due diligence, and strategic tax planning. Earlier in his career, he also contributed significantly to the SKP group as an audit assistant, where he handled statutory audit and corporate law compliance. Along with Mr. Jain, we are also privileged to welcome Mr. Yatharth Jhawar as emerging leader in the field of people and culture at Grant Thornton Bharat LLP. Sir is a proactive and dedicated professional currently serving as an executive with people and culture at Grant Thornton Bharat, where he manages various camping, hiring, and branding initiatives. His role involves orchestrating talent acquisition, such as the articleship, internship drives, organizing Case Inno and Case Quest case study competition for postgraduates and undergraduate students, and leading G-Talk, a platform for guest lectures, seminars, and orientation. He also a Bachelor of Commerce degree in Export Marketing and Psychology of Human Behavior at Workplace from SVKM's Mithibai College, Mumbai. He has previously worked with leading firms like Tata Power, Peacock Solar, and CRM Silk Mills on short-term assignments, gaining invaluable experience in HR, sales, and exports. Sir brings a blend of HR expertise, team management, and commitment to fostering a positive workplace culture and growth opportunities. We are truly fortunate to have such an accomplished professional with us today. Please join me extending a warm welcome to Mr. Shashank Jain and Yatharth Jhawar. Sir, the stage is all yours. Thank you.
No, I'm not. Good morning, guys. Good morning, so you have been taught well how to say good morning. Good. So when you hear the word consulting, what comes to your mind? Or it comes to your mind that exactly what does consulting mean? Anybody who is completely bogus about it? It's okay. Some hands I could see, please. Because if you know none of the hands are raised up, then I can ask more questions then. So everybody knows what is consulting. Wow, great. So consulting, it's everywhere around you. Okay, where you are right now, standing, sitting, your home, your house, college, etc. I think it's important that we understand, consulting is not something that somebody wears a suit, comes in a jargons, and just talking about things. It's more about storytelling. It's more about you solving the problems. And it could be a mixture of somebody who is a detective and a storyteller together. Now, when we talk about consulting and when we say it's everywhere, we need to look for it. So always keep in mind that consulting is not something that you are getting an advice from. It's not restricted to something which is a common word here, but it could be at your home. A lot of you would have come to Pune city for the first time for this course, and just be mindful that today we are in much traffic situation these days. So to navigate yourself, you need a map. But do you really need a map only? No, actually you need a GPS, because that will navigate you, get you out of the traffic, make your ways more comfortable and reach you at a faster destination. If you are somebody who is aware about it, but a map will not have, because map is just a one-way road. GPS will let you know, okay, where you want to actually go. It will save your time. It will navigate you better. So similarly, consulting is that for the business today. Now, when we talked about consulting, I of course am fortunate to be part of the consulting from more than a decade now, almost 15 years, with audit background today and with now international tax. I have been fortunate enough to be part of consulting for this year's time, and can tell you that how emerging it has been from over a decade now. When we started as a commerce student back in 17 years ago, if I just to be precise, none of the options were given to us, because there were not options much available in the market. It's typically somebody said, okay, you're a commerce student, let's go for a chartered accountant course if you want to be a professional. That point in time, there was not much of the market available. Of course, there were available consulting firms which are there today itself, but as such, there were not much options given at that point in time. So when we talk about consulting today, from 17 years or today, if I look at it, it has been emerged a lot. Many people have come to me and asked, okay, exactly what you're doing. Now, of course, I will say that I'm doing international tax, but exactly what I'm doing. If I just talked about my profile, I am not just doing, let's say, a tax or a compliance for somebody. We are doing advising them. I'll give you a very recent example that we saved some $1 million for a client. Now, did we do something for them? Did we provide something for them? No, not exactly, but whatever they had as a process, we just improvised it. And that saved them. So we are not saying that we have made them another $1 million for their business, but we helped them saving that $1 million, which they are losing it because their process were not aligned as such. It was in existence, but they were not aligned. Another example we could give you is that, though we are not doing, but we at GT Bharat could be, doing it for the Pune city itself. You would have heard about the smart city projects which are going on across the country. We are consulting advisor to those development council of that particular city. Last year we won the T20 World Cup. So BCCI was also our client earlier at that point in time, where we kind of advised them on certain things. So if you see this divergence market, now if I would have talked about this 16, 17 years ago, somebody would have talked about it, would not have made sense. But today consulting itself has evolved so much that you should be aware about, what else could be available. It's very important that you staying curious about what consultant could give you. Typically, consulting is not something today as looked upon by everybody, but if you are being curious about it, then there are so many things you could explore in consulting itself. Now, when I'm talking about one myth which everybody I think has, that when we are having a consultancy firm, there will be a lot of PPTs, a lot of Excel work. Yes, there are PPTs, there are Excels in the field of consulting, but it's not just that. You are given real life problem, and we're not saying the household problems, but the real problem of a business. So like a doctor, it is there, we are the doctors for the businesses who are actually solving the problems around the real life problem of the business, as well as solve them and getting them out of the market. For example, consulting could also be an example where you are just referring, your friend has asked you that, okay, I have received 2 job offer letters. Now, which one is better? Now, your friend has come and guided you that, okay, let's visit their cultural tent, let's visit their pay package, of course, and let's there visit also that what is the good exit strategy, if at all that is needed in future. So once you have asked, that friend of yours have asked that, and you are kind of evaluating it, that which one is better, that's where you have done the consulting job for your friend. So it comes with an experience, we get it, but you have to be very curious about, because whatever you are doing today, everywhere you would look for the consulting in every sense. And so just don't limit it by the definition or how other firms are doing or a particular area. I think it's very important that you explore it more. Now, when we are talking about consultancy, of course, there are strategy consulting, IT consulting, operational consulting. There are many areas of consulting which is there today, emerged right now, and I give you for example, which is very unique. But since we have now picked into the consulting or maybe basics of it, I will just want to tell you that smart is not enough. You have to be sharp in consulting, because these are the problems we have to solve on a real-time basis, and you have to take it forward. Now, can you tell me that what is required today? If you have, none of us has raised the hand when I asked, so let me just ask this question, that what according to you are the skill sets to become an MBA from HR, MBA from finance, MBA from so-and-so, to become a real consultant? And when I say it's not a designation, by the way, just don't be mistaken that I'm talking about the designation consultant. But let's say someone can tell you that XYZ person is my consultant. So what does it take to become a consultant? Okay, great. Knowledge of the field. Okay. Solution oriented mindset. Great. Analytical skills. Okay, great. Strategic thinking. Okay. Risk taking quality. Okay. Wow. Anybody else? Storytelling. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Anybody wants to else give a shot? Eye to details. Wow. Critical thinking. Identify the gap in the process. Wow, great. Understanding the need of the customer. Wow. Interesting. Wow. So I should just step down now, right? Wow. Great. I think you guys have covered most of it. But can you tell me what exactly is the most important one amongst all? You have heard everybody, your colleagues, your inmates here. What is according to you would be the most important one? Okay, listening skills. Positive mindset. Communication. Communication, okay. What is communication? Who said communication? Can somebody wants to explore? Elaborate more. Sorry. Convincing. Okay. There's nothing more important as skills. Everything is important. Okay. Now you could say that, okay, if we are talking about a certain skill sets, is it enough? Is it good to start? Maybe yes, maybe not. It depends. But I think it's all required. And yes, there are few terms I've heard which is quite interesting, because when you said positive mindset, etc. But tell me something that can I be nervous right now yet be positive about it? Right. So that's where I think it's important to understand that the skills you just said, you are aware about it. First of all, the biggest thing according to me is that to be aware about it. Awareness, positive mindset, communication, critical thinking, analytical thinking, etc., etc. But are you really aware about the situation? Whenever you go for a job, of course that comes later, but let's say if you go for an interview, what is important to have that mindset? Now, of course, mindset, everybody knows positive mindset. Okay. But critical thinking, again, another things. But awareness of the things around you is much important. When I say awareness, means today if you are entering into a room of an interview, or let's say you are meeting a client in future, what is your mood? How are you feeling? This is important. Now you can say to yourself, positive mindset, okay, good enough. But how you are really feeling about it? I think that's important, because then you are aware about where you are, how you are feeling. Once you know it, then you are aware, okay, maybe I'm getting nervous, that's okay. Maybe I'm not, where I am exactly today, and what I could do for that. So that awareness is, I think, most important. Then, of course, things like critical thinking, positive mindset, communication, analytical thinking, knowing about updates, etc., that will follow. So you have to be a problem solving, yet you have to be more strategic thinker. Yes, correct. There has to be a good communication with the clients about this. Correct. There could be more stakeholder management. It's a good another tactics which we have. Stakeholder management means that who is the recipient of your consultancy services. Again, an awareness point comes into the picture, because you need to be aware about who is your recipient of your services. That's where you would then kind of do the conversations, right? So before I move to how basics ones, of course, what I have seen in last couple of years, especially during COVID and last 3-4 years, that what is important to keep those important things in mind when you are in an interview. But before that, I would like to run and show a video what we do at TaxGrant Thornton Bharat, and I think then we can take it forward.
GT Bharat. Our vision is to meet Prime Minister Modi's call for India to GT Bharat. Our vision is to meet Prime Minister Modi's call for India to create our own Big Four. In 2019, we set course on a unique journey to make this vision a reality. And we started by asking ourselves, aren't we the best placed firm to attempt this challenge? Why, you may ask. India's phenomenal vertical climb globally, our unique position in our global network built on our legacy and strong foundation, our distinct position in the Indian marketplace as the challenger brand to the incumbents. To align with the India growth story, we rebranded our firm as GT Bharat in early 2020 with a commitment to fulfill this dream over the next 25 years. India's ascent continues despite a worldwide pandemic and geopolitical tensions arising from the ongoing wars and conflicts. We became a digital-first nation and the fastest growing large economy. We have a material equity interest in several key global markets, and many of our senior partners are based onshore. We operate the only global research and analytics center serving over 60 countries from Gurugram. Our audit affiliate is the only Indian firm among India's Big Five, and we are fast building our reputation as a premium consulting firm. NFRA, the Indian equivalent of PCAOB, picked 5 Tier 1 firms, including us, for a review to fix audit-related issues and maintain the standards that improve audit quality. Our audit clients represent gold standard market leaders from across sectors. We are not just a certified great place to work. We rank among the top professional services firms in India and are rated higher than India's top 100 employers on 4 out of 5 parameters. Our consulting capabilities shape 6 key ecosystems critical for India and the world: climate and energy transition, inclusion of farmers, women, MSMEs, automation through DigiGov, data and AI, regulatory using digital platforms to enhance the quality of regulatory compliance and reduce costs, private capital shaping the transition from family business to family offices and helping the PEVC community across the deal's life cycle. FDI in sectors such as GCC's manufacturing and exports. The GT Bharat family is now 225 partners and more than 11,000 people in India, which include several ex-Big Four leaders, united with one common vision, one dream to shape vibrant Bharat together. What you see today started taking form 90 years ago. WCC started in London in the early 20th century as Walker & Co. and became Walker Chandiok & Co. in 1935. In 1971, WCC joined Alexander Grant, the predecessor to Grant Thornton. In 1980, GTI was founded with Alexander Grant and Thornton Baker. At the turn of the 21st century, the firm reinvented as Grant Thornton India, focusing on Indian businesses with global ambitions, with WCC as India's preeminent audit firm. As we approach 90 years in 2025, we thank India and the world for how far we have come and ask ourselves every day how we can continue to challenge the status quo by aspiring to create GT Bharat as that first India-led global firm.
So, as you could see, there are few things you need to understand if you are stepping into the consultings. Now, let's talk about before that. I'm not a very true expert of how you want to sit in interviews. All I think your college will teach you well on that. But there are few live examples which I could share so that probably you could take care of few things in mind, and especially the interviewer today, what they are actually looking for versus a traditional hirer versus a hirer which are looking today, because the audience as well as the interview both have changed a lot over these years. Now, of course, the first thing comes is your CV, resume you talk about. Okay. Now it's technically like your movie trailer, right? You give that impactful trailer in your CV so that it attracts you and you kind of get selected for the round. But is that enough? Because we have seen that, now I'm going more into practical, that whatever CVs we see today, many of them are having many matters which are copy pasted. Okay. Now everybody who is interviewing you, they are aware about it. So what else you could change it there? The most important thing which I have seen that, and I am telling each interview as a feedback, that you have to be more real these days. It's very important. There are many things you could do in an interview, but just don't be fake. A simple example I'll give you, that I was interviewing one candidate about like 5 years ago maybe. And since we are in international tax, I just asked simple question that you need to be very profound in English language. Not because I want it, but my client would want it. My government would want it because I need to deal with US government. So are you good at English speaking? Of course, I could see a candidate that whether, she is speaking well, not well, etc. She was decent enough. But I asked her that since you are right now learning it, how you will exit? She answered that, sir, I watch a lot of Netflix and movies, English movies. I said, okay, fair enough. I think good way to kind of enhance your knowledge around English. I just asked her one question after that. Which series? There was no name on the series, right? An answer like, you can watch Netflix, movies, it's fine because you're real about it, if you are. If you are not real about it, don't answer it. Because most of the people today, the hiring side is not somebody you are more polished and all that. Yes, that is needed. Your packaging, your best candidate, your packaging is needed well before the interview, right? It's needed. Even the best product today needs a good packaging. As so you, that's important. But once you enter, you need to be real, you need to be authentic more. These days, the old traditional method of preparing for an interview will not work because the hiring side have also changed. They are also the young folks who wants such Gen Z or that kind of a generation who can, think that, help them to think out of the box. So I think the old ones are scrapped, I would say. So whenever you are having that moment, just be real about it. Second thing, I have seen in an interview that you write or you tend to write about, sir, I have done this, in my internship I have done that, etc. Okay, what I will do with that if you have done that? I don't care. You need to show that what exactly was the outcome of what you did. That's important because today in the CV, at least in the past 6 months, if I am not going even far, I have not seen that what impact you have made in that 3-month internship. So when I say an internship impact, because right now in that bucket where you would be having that internship, that's why internship is an example. You could have a graduation and then you would have done a job and now you're doing an MBA. You could also be that lot. You could be anyone lot, but if you have an experience and if you have mentioned that on your resume, CV, show the impact. That's important. That will be an eye catcher to that, okay, I have done XYZ project, I have done that tax example, but this is what I could save the tax on, this is what I could mention to the client. Now, what impact has been shown on the CV, there is a chance that today the consulting firm will look for your CV or your candidature more than any other person. So, as I said, your CV is like a movie trailer, so you have to just show the impact there rightfully. Just don't talk about, hobbies and all. You would have seen in recent, I think some movies I saw that there was no hobby section. Okay. Now you would say, sir, hobby we should mention, not mention. Again, a fake one, I would say. The most fake one. I do travel, music, dancing, etc. It's all gone into scrap again. What you really do, you say that I like to lie down on the bed, I like to sleep. That's okay. If you don't want to mention it, that's okay. But that's reality. You don't need to be fake because now interviewer is asking about that question as well. If you like music, okay, what type of music? If you like traveling, where have you traveled? Stop mentioning these things about, because if you really love it, you really like it, then only mention it. And if you have tried it, then only mention it, otherwise scrap it. Because now how person judge at the CV as well has now changed. So as I said, it's a trailer, I'm repeating it again, but I think it's important. Now, let's move to the second thing, which consulting firm is specifically driven, not an industry driven, I would say today. They will ask you about some case interview, which is very common phenomenon, when we do it. What is a case interview? We talk about a real life examples. If you have not had any experience as an intern or as a job previously, they will ask you about what situation you have faced and what action you have taken and what was the outcome of that result. Now, whether a positive result is expected, no. You could be failed in it, that's okay. But the point, they are trying to see you while you are explaining that situation or a task, how you would have thought at that point in time and how critical you would have thought in that process. That's what they are evaluating it. They don't want an answer or a solution from you. Trust me, solution is never they are looking for. They are never looking for an answer. They are actually looking for what thought process you had. So it's not gonna be like because you will learn again this in the course as well, I'm sure, but you don't need to be sounding more like a robotic, because if you would have learned about that process, you will just simply go ahead and explain the process. No, don't explain the process. Go ahead and talk about what reality you have faced, and it could be something personal as well. That's okay, because if you have not had experience, because a lot of freshers ask me, sir, we don't have an experience, what real life situation I'll tell on a work. That's okay. Go about something you would have faced, let's say in a college admission or something else, right? It could be anything. They are trying to see that how you have thought in that situation. They are not looking that whether you have found out of solutions. So I think case interview, they will ask you about a particular situation of your life, and they will ask it, because that's very important, that how critical thinking, I think some of you have mentioned, right? How critical thinking were there at that point in time, in that situation, in that task. Third thing is on the behavioral side of it. Now, had it said that, about this situation, they will also talk about how you have reacted to the situation. When interviewers asked about this question particularly, how you are changing your mood while explaining it. Let's say if you have gone to that situation in reality at that point in time, because if you have really felt into that situation, your expression, your body language immediately changes, because you relive that moment for a bit of time in that moment. Interviewer again catches that and see that whether a person is just reading something now available on AI, or that person has actually faced that situation or not. So the behavioral side of is what they will see you that, okay, a person is really faced that situation or not. It's two things, especially when I look at it in consulting, and I've seen and chatted with our colleagues as well, they are very much focused on these two things. How have you faced it? Now they will not say that, okay, I'll give you XYZ situation, now you tell me that. That is also a possibility, of course. They will give you your life case, and they will give you, okay, now you think what you can do here. First of all, since you have not faced that situation, your answer could be completely wrong. Be mindful that they are not looking for a right answer. They are looking for how you are thinking about it. That's very important. Of course, when you come to a job, it's a job process, you have to submit a report, it's an advisory, it's a consulting service. That point in time, of course, you have to be right about it. Of course, otherwise you will lose a lot of money for the client. But if you are not, at least an interview stage, the critical thinking is, I think, utmost important. So these two things you have to keep in mind when you are talking about, when you are in an interview. And last but not the least, that आप अगर एक GPS को देखते हो, right? I talked about it. That's the best way mindset about it. You have to take out of a certain client out of situation. That's what consultants do. If a tax loss is there, you need to get out of them from a tax situation. That's what we do. If I am right now looking at a company which needs a restructuring, I want to set up a subsidiary in US, I want to do a consulting out of UK, etc. How I could synergize between India, US, UK, and I deliver a report to them. So they are looking for that, because I'm getting them out of a situation, right? Just always think that there are Sherlock Holmes, a detective, or our, in Desi Bhasha we say, Byomkesh Bakshi or Karamchand, right? That's what you have to become sometimes. It's not like you have to go and look for things, but sometimes you just find the answers or give them the answer by asking the relevant questions. And that's where the important point in consulting comes, that you need to remain curious always. Why this, why that? We just showed you the slide and we talked about challenging the status quo. I think it's not just what our firm is telling us, but it's something I personally believe in, that, you need to always challenge the status quo. So I'm not saying you ask your faculty a lot of questions, ma'am, why this method is wrong. No, not that. Maybe if you're exploring something, then just be curious that, is there anything available? Is there some other way to find a solution for a question? That means that you're staying curious about it and you are challenging the status quo, that, okay, certain things should not be done just the way A, B, C, D, it could be done in an XYZ manner. So this thing is also interviewer is evaluating when you are in an interview process. Now, when you are cracking an interview, you are done with the consulting and you are entering into the world of consulting. We have shown you few things here, how consulting today is looking at. Now, with that, I want to ask you about one thing that, of course, since you would have seen that we are a global firm, we are across many countries. You could ask some questions in Kenya, we will be able to help you, okay? But that's not the point. Your mindset has to be also in a global mindset. I think someone talked about positive mindset. Okay, but is it really possible that you are always positive while talking? Maybe not, maybe possible. But most of the time, I think global mindset in consulting is very important, because today it is not restricted to your city, your country, your area. It is much expanded beyond the boundaries. A global mindset is important, and I talked about awareness. Whenever you are stepping into a firm, in general awareness about the firm, the profile, I think is very important. Okay. So before I talk about certain few factors, since you are, let's say, we will have a very fictional kind of I would not say interview, but I'm gonna give you one exercise just for 5 minutes within you, okay? And this exercise means that you need to find one pair sitting next to you, okay? One person will be A, another person will be B, okay? You need to split 5 minutes into 2 sections. A person will talk for 2 minutes, B person will talk for 2 minutes, and 1 minute only for the observations. That how person is mood has changed from the start. You have started the conversation versus you have ended the conversation after 5 minutes. So 1 minute you have to spare for that. 2 minutes you have to talk to each other. Very important that, of course, this is an exercise we do as a part of coaching and listening conversation, and this is a tactics which we follow in our consulting. It's very effective mean of somebody says communication. So it's not a one-way traffic, it's two-way traffic, right? I think, because what is communication? In a simple way that whatever you're trying to say, other person is able to understand it, nothing else. So that's why listening is very important in the conversation you are having. So right now I feel that I think you guys have been here since morning, I'm assuming. So I think it's important that you start chit-chatting with each other. So give 2 minutes each to each person, and make sure that if other person is doing a I'm not able to think, because your question would be, why are you really here? And when I say why are you really here, doesn't mean that why are you in college right now, but why are you really here means that interviewer is asking that question to you. Okay. So 2 minutes each, and if A finds that B is the first person talking, whoever is that B in you first, if that B is not able to answer anything, and looking at the lights above, maybe, I have seen that as well, don't do that, it's very bad. So eye contact with the other person. Secondly, if the person is losing the eye contact and not here in the place, thinking about something else at home, you need to ask that question by saying that. For example, if Yatharth is here, Yatharth will say continuously, Shashank, why are you really here? Again, in a 20 seconds, why are you really here? You need to take that person's name and say this sentence. If the person is stop talking, okay, don't interrupt him between unnecessary. So I think we are about at 12 past 5. So we will do this exercise at 12:10. I'll be back. So start it. Whoever is your AB, find out. Teach us if you want to do it. Do it. But start it. Let's start it right now. Just face each other and start it. Why are you really here? Don't start talking about घर पे ये चल रहा है, hostel का ये हुआ है, please.
Excuse me, sir. There is a slide change in case you want.
No, I don't need it now. I think I'll be done. Yeah.
So you're not going to play this slide?
No, I think that video covered everything. So I'm gonna. Oh, maybe yeah. one slide, I think slide number 24 I would need. Take it, keep it. I'll use it.
You can just communicate accordingly.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Sir, do you require a collar mic as well? You can
No.
walk here also. You can walk. You can walk around.
Okay.
Or normal
Yeah, normal mic is fine.
You can use
It's working, right?
Yeah.
I want to switch off also, just tell me now.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Are we done? I think it started with interviewer and interview versus a JD group discussion, right? It happens. It's okay. And in 5 minutes, by the way, is definitely not enough for this kind of a drill. Now, why I did this for two things. Now, can you tell me what was the mood before? And just be honest with the person you had started conversation. What was the mood? You know, and it could be in the scale of, let's say, feeling low, high, or happy, sad, sleepy, etc., etc. There could be moods, all of that. So, what was the real mood before you started the conversation, and how it ended after the conversation? Anybody would like to say? Your teacher is not held you bad if you are sleepy. Don't worry. Anybody? Yeah. Great. Anybody else? One more, maybe? All right, no worries. Now, who had the conversation in real and not just doing a group discussion about college lecture and maybe about me also, the person who has actually talked A and B, okay, the way she has mentioned that energy level has changed once you started the conversation. That is number one. When I talked about the awareness, that's very important, that there could be a meeting room you have entered before the interview, or it could be a small cubicle, etc. It could be different premises wherever you will have that interview process. I talked about the awareness, and that's where I want to talk about that. What is your energy before entering the room? That's super important, because half of the things is energy. Your knowledge, critical thinking, etc., what you have learned in course, etc., it will not matter that much as compared to your energy during the interview. So if you are low, doing hum, hoo-ha, and you're not clear about your thoughts, looking at light, maybe I have seen recently that there was some work going on probably in the office. Some boxes were, there. It was, I think, some typical Parle-G boxes, etc., right? You have usually for packing. And person was looking at boxes. I was like, what are you doing? I mean, I of course didn't point it out, but I saw that person was not here at all for the interview. He wanted a job, etc., etc., but then he was not there at all. We always have this cultural concept called be here now. If I am right now talking, you are interested to listen to me, then be here now. If you are not, okay, do something else, no worries. But whatever you are doing, you have to be here now. So it's an interview. It's very important that you are present in the mind there. Forget about positive, negative, etc., etc. I think those critical thinking, those will come. But just be there. Be the part of the process, what is happening right now. Second thing important is, there has to be a factor deciding what is controllable, what is not controllable. Mood of the interviewer is not in your control. उसकी बीवी से झगड़ा होगा, कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप उसका, ठीक है? लेकिन आपके कंट्रोल में ये कि आप जब रूम में एंटर कर रहे हैं तो what is your energy? That is completely in your control. And somebody else should not control that energy of yours. Now immediately you could feel that this person is already pissed off, my interview is gone. Fine. The reason is that that's not your in control anyways. What you will do about it? You will say, sir, what happened? No. You will not ask that what happens at work. But yes, you can have small questions, pass a smile, how are you, sir, how was your day, etc., etc. That is fine. If it changes the mood, energy, etc., fine. If it doesn't, you can't do anything about it. So let's be clear that because you will have these phases, multiple rounds, multiple companies, there's a possibility that the other person at the table may not be in good mood, but it's not in control. So just keep to yourself, your energy, your mood, etc. That's important. Always think in any decision, in any talk, in any course, in any anything you are doing in life, controllable versus non-controllable factor. Focus on what you can control. Don't focus on what you can't control. I can't control Pune rains or traffics, right? Leave it. I can't really do anything about it, or none of us can do anything about it. But what I can do, I can avoid being in traveling. I don't want to travel. Maybe, okay, I can avoid traffic, then I can use maybe metro in whatever way Pune has today. But beyond that, you can't do anything about it. So these are basic things, especially from an interview perspective, you have to be very clear about that it's your energy, your importance in that interview. So that's the second thing. Now, when we talk about, I would like to more deep dive into the last topics of the day is about knowing what is your, what is the difference between an environment and an ecosystem. Please don't Google it, if at all. If you really know the answer, just try it, that what is the difference between an ecosystem and an environment. Anybody wants to give it a try, give it a shot. Don't worry about right and wrong. It's okay.
Good morning, sir. I'm Radhika Fadnavis. I would like to define ecosystem. So, to my understanding, ecosystem talks about the interrelationship between the people existing, how they interact with each other, and what are their terms with each other. Thank you.
Great. That's correct. Any human interaction right now I am doing. First of all, this college, this auditorium is your environment. This air, your light, AC, etc. That is your environment as is. But whatever the activity we are doing here, we are creating an ecosystem here. Okay. Now, why I talked about it? Anything today, when I'm talking about a client or an industry or a consulting firm, they are part of certain ecosystems. In the world, by the way, it's not India driven, by the way. I can talk about global climate change, and I'm doing some reports on that. That is also a project which we are doing for governments, right? Especially in Delhi, if I have to say so. These 6 are our ecosystem where we have classified our expertise or service line or competency. When I say competency, let me be very precise. My service line or my competency today is international tax. I am a subject matter expertise of international tax. I am right now fitting into that bucket, which is tax, regulatory, finance, consulting. And of course, these are various BUs, which is called business unit. And I'm part of tax business unit under that international tax. But I am part of this ecosystem, and I would be serving into these 6 ecosystems. It could be different altogether. And all the firms, consulting firms across globe would be somewhere in this bucket. So if you are one who is looking for somebody in consulting, this you need to understand more about. Definitely all these details are there on our website. I wouldn't want to get into each one of it. But I think this is important for you to understand. For example, today in Pune, we are working with the Maharashtra Government Electricity Board. Okay. So we are into that ecosystem of, let's say, it could be related to MSME because we are also supporting a lot of small businesses. Since it's related to energy, it could be part of the climate and energy transition, how efficiently the things are there at electricity board. And on overall basis, I could be part of transformation consulting, deals consulting, who are providing that consulting to that ecosystem today. And I'm having that interaction with that ecosystem. So government right now I'm discussing, then I'm part of that ecosystem. Slide. Now, look at the screen right now and just give an honest answer that you are aware about all these industries in existence. You would have interacted with many of them in your day-to-day life, by the way. But really this existed, how many of you knew about it? All of them? Or maybe half of them? Right? Now, if you could see the colors, the dark blue and the light blue or green, whatever it is displaying right now, the one which are in dark blue are known industries from the ages. I would say it was like a past, or I could say what we call it as, then. then means it's a continuous industry which is there, existence, it's going to be in existence, it's going to be there always. The ones which are in light colors are the emerging industry, in the sense that they were there already, but they are now more focused. You are using these days a lot of, especially India, if I have to say so, Phone Pay, Google Pay, that is part of fintech. Now you could say it's a technology. Now what technology? Now there's a fintech especially introduced. Everybody knew about banking, insurance, very common. Now people are more interested about NBFCs. Now it's not like NBFC were not in existence, but now NBFC is now in focus. The traditional banking is now there. I mean, it's there. It's not like it's gone. But now the focus has shifted to the NBFCs. How that is being played to. Aviation. Nobody was focusing that much on the airlines like they are doing today. There were like a couple of them in existence and it was just going as is. Today there are multiple things in aviation industry. You could see very different thing like, medical devices. Now somebody can say it's part of the healthcare in general. Now healthcare and medical devices are different because medical expands are into heavy engineers or products or equipment of medical. But it's not as such the part of healthcare because when we talk about pharmaceuticals, it's the medicines or they manufacture. So medical devices are completely different. Why I'm showing this screen? Because if you want to be part of consulting, you need to be, what you have to be actually pursue or aspiration you should have at the, probably at a high stage of your career, to be one subject matter expertise. Today, I am known to the market, my clients, etc. as subject matter expertise of international tax. Now, what your aspiration would be? Secondly, today I am known as a tech industry sector expert. Because when we talk about a projection about a journey, you start from an analyst or a trainee, etc. You become a consultant, you become an assistant manager, you become a manager, you become an associate director. Then you become a director and the last one is partner. Consulting firm has the highest designation as partner, be it any firm in the world, okay? Partner is the one you are ultimately looking for as an aspiration at the last. But once you become a partner, what after that, what is there? There are two things only. You could then be called as corridor leader. You could be called, when I say corridor leader means US India corridor, UK India corridor, Germany India corridor, which means that a particular corridor leader would be there who is particularly serving into that geography. You could be an expert of a particular sector, then you would be called as sector leader. For example, automotive leader or pharmaceutical leader, etc. That's why this industry knowledge is super important, that where are you catering to. It could be a fact that once you start your journey, let's say in a client you are serving, it's in pharma industry. Probably let's say you continue doing that, you could become a pharma sector leader once you become a partner or that expert. So two things important in consulting. One is subject matter expert. You have to become XYZ person has a subject matter expertise, and that's where I will be called as a consultant to that particular person or a client. Not as a part of GT or any organization, but Shashank Jain is my consultant. Now that's where you are looking for, that's where you are aspiring for, that somebody is talking about you in the market, that Shashank Jain is the one I am dealing. Another thing, when I mentioned about my name so emphatically, that once I have completed now 12-13 years of this career, today when I started as a tax expert of so and so years back, that point in time I was not aware that what sector expert I would be. Of course I started with tech industry, IT companies, okay. I was not sure at that point in time I'll be a sector expert in future. It just happened that I started adding 1, 2, 3 large corporates like Infosys, TCS, etc. and just adding up there and doing their work, etc. And it just kind of added to everything together, and I became a tax expert today under international tax. Secondly, even after all these years, you are still learning. That's very important. And lastly, what I wanted to tell you is that once I am here in this tech expertise, it's not like I am not aspiring to anything. Today, I am also being asked that, okay, once you become a partner, what different you will do? Okay. My answer would be that today I am also serving to large ultra HNI clients. If you are a finance guy, you need to understand the annual report of a company, at least the listed one available on stock market. in stock market, you would see that a lot of shareholdings is now moved to a family offices. Family office is nothing but family office of Ambani, family office of Adani, family office of so and so. The shareholding of the company has shifted from that individual to that family house. Means that tomorrow, if there is a fight between the Jaidat, it is very secured in the family office. Today, that is emerging. Lot of people are moving their wealth to the trust. They don't want to be debated, court case, etc., etc. It is very much protected. That's where my expertise is today. That I am helping people, those kind of people maybe, setting up a trust, helping them on their tax structure. If they are multiple geography people like UK citizen of them, you would know them face by face, and a lot of you would know also who are interested in Bollywood or other things, that though they are seems to be Indian, they are not holding Indian passport. They could be UK citizen, Denmark citizen or XYZ. So it's important that what you're doing, you're aware about it. So that is for me as a now or a next level expertise. So of course, once you become a partner, that's your ultimate goal, but you need to be a subject matter expert or at least an industry expert. So that's about the consulting. So I think this is it. Any questions I would like to answer, please have 10 minutes more maybe. Yeah.
Hello, good morning, sir. My name is Vaishnavi from Balaji Institute of Technology and Management, specializing in finance. Sir, we often see that government introduce frequent amendments and policies. As a profession and organization, how do you efficiently tackle these changes and ensure timely application, especially in the way that support individually and corporate in financial planning?
Great. So I'll give you an example. You would know that President Trump is doing a lot of activities. It's in the news. So I'm working on it. Okay. He passed an act called OBA, One Big Beautiful Bill Act. I don't know how it comes, but it's called OBA Act. It's very funnier, but yeah, it was enacted on 4th of July of like last month only. The time he has enacted from January till every time, you would have seen that he has increased the rate against India, tariff rate has been increased, that law changes, etc., etc. Every 15-20 days, there are certain level of governments like India, we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, etc. There they have Senate, House, Congress, then they get passed, and then the bill gets finalized under the president. That process is known. So now the timelines, you are aware that something is out, this is expected. So now, before it passing to a bill versus before it passing to a law, it is just a bill on the paper, it's not has enacted yet. That time frame you start prepping yourself, the client, that if at all this is being enacted, then what all mitigations you have to take care, what all steps you have to take care. Of course, there are a certain set of teams who are just working on the changes only. They are not focusing on anything else. They are just going to say, okay, this is what A was, now this is B. What else my client would be affected out of it? Then we frame the policy, we frame the alerts, we keep ourselves updated, of course, but that's how we deliver to a client. Maybe we present the larger clients that, okay, these are the 5 areas you will be impacted, so you have to find mitigative measures. And that's where, of course, we as a consultant comes into the picture to kind of tell them the affected area or the good areas also. Probably they could be saying some taxes or some mitigative measures they will start looking at. So they will also start changing their policies. If they need that help, then again we are also part of changing that policy and maybe become a policy changer for them, and we frame that policy so that they are not much affected by it.
Good morning, sir. My name is Adit from BI. So my question is on the industry which are mentioned on the board. Which one has the highest exposure to direct tax, and as a consulting firm, what challenges do you face while researching?
At the top best, even if you ask anybody in the country, they are still looking for that answer. Okay. Reason being that every policy when it comes, the first question which I answered, let's say any policy change comes, let's say in aviation, or let's say our defense ministry comes into the picture. Right now, let's say we are in Pune, there are a lot of defense import is happening, for example. But this is right now the current market, current scenario, defense sector is like kind of picked up. But if you ask honestly, India is a self-consumption country, like, we are consuming our products internally, there's a huge consumption within India. So all these FMCG, all those things are there. If you ask about the COVID phases, the pharma industry was boomed up. I think it's all together. There's nothing like a particular industry is having a direct tax more issue or an indirect tax more issue, etc. Of course, there are high risk sector and low risk sector where the public money is more risk. Especially, for example, insurance company, if we talk about, there are public money at large involved. That's why a lot of foreign direct policy which are there by the government, there are still a restriction on how a foreign company could be invested in an insurance company. You would have heard so many names like Max Bupa, PNB MetLife. They are not allowed to fully operate in India as an independent insurance company as of today. Now, if you want to be an industry expert, or like, let's say, that is a foreign FDI, like, foreign direct investments. Under the FDI policy of FEMA, which is Foreign Exchange Management Act, they are not allowed to invest in a full insurance company sector as of today. Banking, they have still gone ahead and little bit leeway has been given, but it is still not there. That's why all foreign insurance companies are still tying up with Indian companies. In 91, when the liberalization policy came, of course, there were like, Hero Honda and, those JVs were there. Because that point in time, they were not allowed. They were allowed to invest it, but now that automotive sector have been completely independent. You can come at 100% FDI and be owning your own market. That's why today Honda is directly selling, Suzuki is also there. Those JVs which are being continued, they are still continuing, but it's emerging. So to answer your questions, none of this sector is like, every specific sector has a very more direct tax implication or indirect tax implication. But yes, the policy change which happens for a particular sector, that of course you tend to kind of look at it more, because that's where you make the more money, because that's where people are actually looking for answers, because other sectors people would have already know the answer, they will not look for a consultant for that matter.
Good morning, sir. My name is Samir Zadav. I am from BIMM, specializing in finance. Sir, my question to you is, sir, how do you see India's move towards a potential new direct tax code and global minimum corporate tax affecting advisory services for multinational clients?
So, global minimum tax, currently as we speak today, all the governments, especially European Unions and the OECD, they are encouraging to push back Trump very badly. And that's why US government may take second decision about, how global minimum tax is looking like. But it's very uncertain because so many things is right now happening at US on the tariff front. Right now, as we speak today, yesterday some policy has come where, they have kind of added 25% reversal on the India imports. So that uncertainty is a lot of going on, and every day there are so many things happening in the government, especially from America's market. So there could be a possibility, this is at very early stage, but probably they would like to reconsider that, because it has come from a US at G20 summit where they had it. The other, from a direct tax code, it's very much possible that it's happening in the next budget. This is what we are expecting, but if you asked me honestly, it was also being very much fairly asked in the last budget as well that it will be passed, but it was not passed. But probably since the third tenure of this government is right now there, they are still, I think now will be in the move, because they will have that kind of a majority to pass that code. But it will revamp the whole process. Most of the things for all of us would be remaining same, I would say, but it's just that it will be renamed in certain manner, but it wouldn't have a larger impact on the individual or salaried people or job people, as such, servicemen. I don't see that much happening, because whatever they have done already on the capital gain tax, etc., they have already done last year. Yes, so I don't expect much change around direct tax per se, specifically.
Sir, and what are the problems faced by the government to implement the DTC, because it was drafted in 2009 but also means today also it was not implemented by Indian government. So what are that issues?
Well, I'm not an IAS officer today, and I don't know how they are policy drafting. But what I sense is that whenever it is presented, nobody is on same page in terms of whether this is good or bad. First of all, there are no projection about that it is in the interest of the country or not. Everybody has right now told the government that you reduce the income tax so that ultra HNI stays back, etc. Rationalize more tax slab, etc., etc. The more and more we are asking about as a tax professional that okay, let's make the things easier, and certain sense it is becoming more complicated. So to make it easier, it is just happening opposite side. To be honest, as a tax professional, it's still good, right? I mean, otherwise we'll be redundant in some years. But in all the sectors, it is happening that way because they are trying to target a certain set of areas that because of this, I will have this kind of impact. But there are other large factors, a larger audience or larger population of the country, it's getting affected. So to target a particular area, community, etc., they are impacting the whole, population, and that's where the traction comes. That okay, no, this is not good for this is good for that. Every policy makers is facing that problem, unless until we had this, this Operation Sindoor or these kind of things. There is no objection at all. It's like in full swing. Defense sector is importing today at the best. It's right now at the peak, which has been never in the history of the country of India, the defense import. So this, where it is needed, nobody is asking the questions. But in some areas where, of course, the government has to run, there has to be a majority, there are other factors. Always, since there are no full majorities, always tend to have a kind of a decision where, won't be implemented such easy manner. So usually that is the problem, but eventually I think next year, organization like us, we are part of, have submitted a lot of proposals to government like us. Most of the others have also submitted, and probably they will implement it next year. You never know. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Jai Hind, sir.
Sorry, who's saying sorry?
Sir, on the right.
Okay.
Jai Hind, sir. I am Shravani Kale from BIMM, specializing in finance. Sir, my question is, will AI automation change the entry-level tax job, and how can we as students prepare for it?
Great. So first of all, AI. Wow, I think it's hot subject. And what I wanted to tell first thing that how it's gonna change, I think we are still exploring it. But one thing is for sure that AI will not replace your job, but a person who is not able to use AI will definitely be replaced. That is for sure. The technologies as they have come in past, similarly AI, we need to use to it because people are using it. Of course, there are issues around law, copyrights, privacy issues, etc. are there. That's why, especially if you ask me from a tax perspective, there were recent Mumbai High Court, kind of a case law where AI used basis case laws and it was presented to the judge. They didn't accept it because, and it is written in all those thin liner, by the way. You won't find it openly in the news or on Instagram that you can't use these AIs to put up a case. That's not allowed. So once somebody finds it out, it's technically today the Indian law is that you can't use those things into this kind of a case law or a tax, etc. For your research, basic things, it is working well, you are being fast. But at the same time, we have realized that, past 6 months, at least somebody who is utilizing the AI or ChatGPT, and we are in Microsoft, so maybe, we are using Copilot, it has reduced the thinking on a very, large scale. Because once it comes to a case law, or a matter which is going to a court from a tax perspective, people have stopped thinking about how I want to approach it because that's a manual intervention. It's not like a judge is also a robot and it's gonna be like giving the answers basis what we are giving through AI. It's never gonna happen. So critical thinking has stopped for sure. The only thing I would say, as I said, the use of AI needs to be there because right now since everybody is using, it is faster, at least to give you a direction. But whether you are fully reliant on it, that answer is no. For that, people on the job is still needed.
Good afternoon, sir. Here. My name is Kavita Singh. I'm specializing in HR. So, sir, my question to you is, in future, if I'll be a consultant, so how to build that trust factor that you have come to a right place, to a right person, and will provide you the right solution?
Okay. I think what works best for me, I would share that with you. I think being very much authentic in the conversation. It helped me in a very advanced manner. I would say in some sense it may not have, because people may not like it to hear the truth always, unfortunately. But I think it works best for the long time. And today if I say that, if I'm having that conversation, being real, be really authentic about the conversation, that's have helped me build the trust. When I started as a consultant in the GT Bharat, I was just a consultant, like in a sense that in all organization you could have seen that we are 12,000 plus people now, but we were just consultant. Today, me being a director, if we have to talk about, today there's a brand which has been created. I would not say I'm a brand, but within our community, there is a sense that, okay, if I want to reach out for an international tax matter, let's reach out to Shashank Jain. It has come after whatever 10, 11 years of time. Who would have seen the, KGF, I would quote it, that, he would look at the Raymond poster and he will say it's a brand since 19, whatever that year was. But that's the truth. Because in consulting, you move around any firm. At least in India, if I have to say so, it is the person the client is with. It's not with the organization. That's very important, and a deep thought I got with one of the CFO chatting probably last week. And he said that, Shashank, wherever you move, I will move. So that's the personal brand you have created. So within the consulting firm, even if you go to a top management consulting firm like BCG, McKinsey, etc. also, the brand you carry, of course, is there. It makes a very good impact while you're talking. But once you have that brand with you from a firm or a consulting firm, it's the individual brand that plays the role. And that comes with the trust. And that's where being authentic, being real, and of course, if you are able to get out of that person, out of a problem at a particular time, he will be thankful for you to life. And it doesn't work with the client, right? It works with your friends, families in general. They will keep you in your good prayers always. So I think that's where I think you will build the trust. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Suyog Marathe, Senior Student Manager from SBUP Finance. Sir, my question to you is from your experience at Grant Thornton and the industries you mentioned here. So how have you seen startups or new age tech companies? How do they approach taxation strategies differently as compared to big traditional businesses?
At the start, any startup who is there, who is aiming for any startup would look for an exit, because every startup is backed by a private equity. Like you would say Nykaa, Zomato, Swiggy, or these recent, some point in time they were a startup, now they are publicly listed. Now, every startup when they start, once they have a good business, and then you go to a platform like Shark Tank or similar, you raise the money and private equity comes into the play. The role of a private equity is, of course, to fund and back your business and get an exit. In all this process, from a tax perspective, their aim is never the focus on tax, to be honest with you. Their focus is more on the long term, that how I will exit this deal. Typically, all these people exit strategy, they decide on the exit, how they will do. I tell you, in any mergers and acquisition, any targets happening, any acquisition happening in the market today, or any IPO is coming for a particular startup, let's say, whenever any big player comes into the market at an entry level, they come with a thinking that, how will I exit? The exit is important than the entry. And one of the exit strategy comes where the tax angle comes in, that what would be the most tax efficient way that I can invest in that particular company, so that at an exit, I have a very lesser tax. So the difference between a startup and a traditional company is that they are traditional companies looking to have a more like a normal tax efficient structure versus a startup is looking at a more tax saving structure because they will have a huge capital gains at the exit. So the traditional ones are like just going as is because they have good funding, their own funds, etc. So they are not having much of a traction in the day-to-day thinking of saying the tax. But the ones at startup, they always come in a picture that whenever I need to enter today, how will I exit? That has been decided already. That's where the tax efficient structure, the way they invest in the Indian market, comes into play. There are many geographies in outside India like Netherlands or Luxembourg or Singapore. There are tax treaty with these countries, etc. There are tax efficient manner to enter into the market and in that particular company. Those treaties are being evaluated so that they exit. Once they exit, the money is free flowing from India back to those geographies. That's where startups are aggressive here in terms of when the tax question comes, because it's not part of the one question about tax, it's the part of the overall exit strategy of them. And that exit strategy includes tax element of it as well.
Good morning, sir. Sir, here the Good morning, sir. I am Aditi Sharma, Junior Student Manager at VIMM Finance. And sir, we recently studied about the case of Silicon Valley Bank, where it happened because of various interconnected factors of government policies and various things. And to solve it, Federal Bank manufactured approximately $800 million to, settle off the payments. And even earlier, there are instances where US economy actually manufactured notes to settle off the cases amongst the country. So what are your thoughts on it, and what will be the impact on India? Will it be in favor or against of it? And even these ideas of manufacturing notes to settle off the payments, is it right or wrong?
Okay, right or wrong, I don't think I have an answer to that, because there are so many factors, because you are backing so many things like, whatever business have been affected by that, because the money has been lost. So I remember the day when, one of our client was making some payments to us, and he has a bank account in Silicon Valley, a bank. And the night he called from California, he said, Shashank, we are facing this issue, you would have seen, etc. So we have a limit of, let's say, so-and-so, I can transfer. But we would like to close this bank and, but we are not at that risk. But our other client of us, they had $1 million stuck there. And they had an overall capital of about $3-4 million, out of which $1.5 million was parked in that bank. So if that money would have gone, that startup would have collapsed. So from a settlement answer, I'm not sure it's right, wrong, ethics, non-ethics. I really don't have an answer, but I feel that at least to back those people, it was good to settle that. So at least if I look at those few ones which I have interacted, so at least they have got the money. Otherwise, they would have been bankrupted themselves as well. The overall policy, I think it's completely different the way India is functioning today. In fact, for another couple of decades, it will be very different. Since US is already developed, their bank rates are so low, their housing finance. Today, you would have known that US is not having a culture of saving at all. That's why there's an interest rate is very low. They are meant to give you loan. I mean, everything is on loan, everything is on credit. Nothing is on like cash, you settle it. That's where our economy versus US economy, how they have functioned is completely different. We can't apply what they have applied directly here. Similar way, what we have applied here, they will not work it here, because the whole population, the culture of the country itself is driven in a certain fashion that it won't work inter country, if I have to say so. What works here will not definitely work there, and other way around as well. The only thing is that since they have already reached at certain level, they are just keeping themselves there, so it's very hard for them to be there. India, on another side, we have now reached and crossed Japan from a economy perspective. If we are aspiring for a certain numbers, let's say in 2035 or whatever that number area or year is, our strategy will work basis our culture fitment only. You can't simply adopt what US would have done, Germany would have done, or France would have done. It just doesn't work that way at all from a policy perspective. So good or bad, I can't say, but it won't work, I feel.
So right now the policies or the tax and tariffs about the things, it would be impacting the countries. In that sense, what is the impact on India?
We are pushing on it. Don't worry. I think something would happen is our sense, because 2-3 weeks back we were part of the India UK also. Our folks at UK firm were part of when we have submitted the journal, etc. What would be the good ones, etc. So I'm sure so many of us from here, everywhere, are pushing to push back the tariff rates. But yes, once if it is still not backed, the time has been given, by the way, 7th August. So you would know what happens on 7th August. Again, they could push back again. Again, they will say, okay, not 25%, let's do it 5%, let's do it on further extensions. This is what we have seen, because it's not just one country to country, but it's have a very longevity effect to other countries as well. So 1% push from, let's say, Japan or some other country will have an impact on how India looks at it. So if, let's say, if it's still enacted, there's no going back. Those areas, especially on electronics and those things, that will get expensive. And those particular industry will get impacted by that, for sure, immediately. But we are expecting that further extension or some deviation will come in the tariff.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. I'm P.U. Mathur from BITM, specializing in finance. Sir, my question to you is, in an increasing competition, that too dominated by Big Four firms, how does GT Bharat position itself differently in the area of tax, risk, advisory, especially in terms of value and career exposure for young professionals like us?
So one good part about, I just mentioned about the country India or US, if we are comparing, right? We are saying we are now the 4th largest economy, right? We are not there. We are still developing country, etc. And that's where India has the higher opportunity to grow. Versus somebody who has already grown, developed, etc. Then they don't have much traction to be somewhere else. They are still maintaining themselves there, to be there. But since we are down, the growth opportunity or the expansion value in terms of value is much more, because we are still like this and we have a chance to grow like this, right? So to answer you, similar way, the way Big Four or GT is there today as well. Let me tell you, I think in some areas we are a top consulting in terms of like how we are serving to sport industries, etc. I mentioned you about we are serving to BCCI, right? I mean, it's a giant. So at the World Cup, we kind of help them in some advisory. None of were able to do it. A lot of government projects which we are doing, like smart city project, it's been divided amongst like few Big Four firms and us. So not every other Big Four firms are part of it at all. So in some areas we are already number 2 or number 3. At a larger, today, the value which is being seen at what is Big Four, Big Five, it's all terms, of course, given in the traditional way of giving it. But today, if you see other areas of things, today it is just a rank basis your revenue overall. We are at, let's say, $8 billion, as a revenue from 7 or 8 billions roughly, but that's a global number. But that's where the ranking comes in. And also you would see that in near future, at least till 2030, private equity is being very interested in consulting firm. If you are reading the news about consulting firm, they are also being backed by private equity now. It has never happened in the past, by the way. They are into those industries, earlier I shown, they are part of those private equity, but private equity was never ever part of consulting firm. Now they want to, I would say in a very nutshell, that they are trying to get an IPO for a consulting firm. It's very, I would be amazed how it's going to happen, but that's what their aspirations are. If you read the news, a lot of people are investing for a faster growth and take an exit and get a listing for a consulting firm. It has never happened, but that's where their aspirations are. So we are already amongst there, but in a larger picture, since we have a larger opportunity to grow, we are in our good space today.
Now the house is closed for the questions for this part of the session. Okay, we'll take to the last question.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Pranav More. Sir, how does tax advisory and or risk assessment influence the positioning or pricing of the financial product in the market?
And I've gone through the website of company also. So I've seen that GT Bharat also collaborated with GovEva, that platform. So sir, how GovEva platform simplifies the BRS reporting for the companies?
I think it's the increase in efficiency, nothing else. Because, the larger man hours you are saving, that is being used for some other projects. So that is the automation or, the tie-up from an efficiency perspective. From a risk assessment or a tax efficiency perspective, particularly on a product pricing, if you have seen any annual report, right now the valuation of a company is profit after tax into certain numbers. If you are interested in that kind of an area as a finance student, then you would know that, right is valued basis the profit of the company. Earlier the revenues are there were multiple things like how the revenue projections are or how your PBT is. Today we have seen clients that their profit after tax number is looked. So between profit before tax and profit after tax is nothing but the tax numbers. So that's how the value of the company is determined if your tax has gone for a hit. So that assessment is very much needed.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. One last question.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Rohit Wagh. I'm from BMHRD, specializing in finance. I would like to add up on the tariff front. There was a news floating around which I came across, which said Donald Trump, the president of US, was going to have huge cuts in taxes and replace that income with tariff income. Now, assuming that US doesn't have that debt which it has, can it actually do it?
No. I don't think so. As I said, that one country policy is not impacting just them. There's a effect worldwide. Trump has enacted a lot of immigrations policies as well. I tell you, recent example, I met one of the client. He's a US citizen, and he mentioned that, Shashank, we were in a San Francisco restaurant. It's a very famous restaurant. And there was a queue in the restaurant. And half of the restaurant was empty. Now he just asked the server that why you can't just give a table there. Sir, it's fine. We can give you table if you want to sit, but there are no people available to serve you. Can you imagine? Now, if Trump wants that kind of a policy and, kind of enact that, there will be no people left because they need immigrants because they are the ones who are doing that kind of a job. Similar way, this tariff, this countries, a lot of imports, export dependence on various other factors, geopolitical factors. So it's not that easy that one country will just have their own impact within that geography, but it will impact the whole world. So it's not gonna happen that way easily. I doubt.
Okay,
he will be hampering his position also. So maybe he makes more money out of it. I don't know, but it's given that because there are a lot of theories that how Trump is factoring. Maybe the person I talked about with you, he just said that Shashank, maybe he's making more money for his friends by making his random news. Anything is possible, but I mean, you don't know the reality, right? But it will not happen the way he's saying on the news versus what it actually means. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me. The house is now closed for these questions of this part of the session. Now, may I request Senior Assistant Professor Dr. Sri Prasad Kulkarni sir to felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Shashank Jain sir. Everybody, please wait over here as the session is not over. Mr. Yatharth Jawar sir will be taking over with the session now.
Guys, all of you will have a 5 minutes bio break and the HR students are requested to come back. Finance students can leave for the day. I think you have to follow your academic schedule post that. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, before leaving, please fill in the feedback form.
HR students, once you come back, ensure you accommodate the middle lane. HR batch, please ensure you come back because we'll once again have the attendance. This is crucial for the campus hiring.
The HR batch, MM and HRD, take a quick bio break and come back. This session is inclusively only for y'all. Your lunch break will be after this. We are also not going to have lunch till you finish, okay? Don't worry. And all HR students come ahead. Your break is after the session. It's only half an hour session. Your lunch break is anyways after 1 o'clock. What you're saying? Nay. HRs, girls, my God, how much you crib? See the boys, they are so quiet. See, look at the girl. Come on, all HRs, come in the center. Junior HR. नहीं, सब senior. चलो जल्दी आ जाओ, come fast. HR or finance? Bye. Come ahead, occupy the first benches. नो यालन अच्छा ये तो एचआर क्या हुआ है आई कार्ड्स गए गुड कांग्रेचुलेशंस ये क्या हो गया तुम लोगों को आ गया ना हाँ नहीं बाहर वाले कोई नहीं है आ गया कम 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 यू सो स्वीट क्या लास्ट बेंच कम अहेड आ जाओ यू हैव टू स्टार्ट सिटिंग फ्रॉम हियर मैं आ रही हूँ अभी सबको उठाने सिट चलो बॉयज गर्ल्स आ गया बॉयज को यहाँ पे क्यों लड़कियों उठा चला यार डोंट वेस्ट टाइम लवकर सुरू करून लवकर संपू मलाही भूक लागली आहे मी डब्बाच नाही आणला मला वाटलं तुझ्या डब्यातनं खाईन हां चालेल चला या पुढे या फटाफट या Good girls. You're a bad girl, you sat down. The minute I said good girl, she sat down. Come ahead, come. See, you should understand, if he's saying he wants to talk to the HR batch, probably there must be an opportunity. It's a very good company. So come. काय ग हे उठ ना आलो कर आणि तिथेच उभा राहा उठा चला या You're so sweet. See, I always knew you are sweet. Wait, see, look at her. उचलून आण गं तिला. कहाँ जगह नहीं? खड़े होने की जगह नहीं है. चलो चलो चलो. You want to go in? Go. Just that place. I hurt yourself. जाओ. बोला. रहने दो. तब आएगी. किस पे? इस पे? क्यों लगा? चलो boys, please settle fast. PITM council, you have to go. Thank you so much. Good job. This batch doesn't need monitoring. क्यों ऐसे कर रहा है? माँ को ये सब चाहिए होगा. खाना टिफिन है. जीपे पे कुछ तो कर. चलो बैठो ना बाबा. लेट्स स्टार्ट. गाइस, जितनी जल्दी आप लोग सेटल होंगे उतने जल्दी आपका सेशन शुरू होगा, उतने जल्दी खत्म होगा, उतने जल्दी खाना खाएंगे. बैठो. एकदा तरी हसत खेळत बोलणं नाही. माझ्यासमोर रडती. बोला. किसकी आयडी गई है? किसकी आयडी गई? बैठ जा यार. What is such a fun? We would know he wants to talk only to the HR batch. There must be some reason that he wants to talk to you all. Settle down fast so that we call. Boys, please sit down. ह्या दोघींना काय झालं? काय झालं तुम्हाला? What happened to you? Lifelong गई. तो लाइफलाइन ही है ना. मेरी तो लाइफलाइन मेरा फोन है. तुम्हारा नहीं पता. बैठ के कैलकुलेटर क्यों? नहीं, boys here, first row. Boys, first row for you all. The girls have left this special place for you all. Come. आकाश एकदम पुढं. नको ना. भूक लागली आहे रे. काय असं करू? Fill in this place. कहाँ शिक करते तू? So sweet. ना, what is wrong with y'all? Please sit. इकडेच बस. श्रेया कुठे आहे? काय माहिती, त्यांनी आत्ताच म्हटलंय. नाही, त्याच्या अगोदर संपून टाकू. नाही, थांबा ना. मला पण भूक लागली.
तुम्ही तर जाणार.
Hey, Baba, fill. What is wrong with you? Fill this place. Boys, come down. Why are you waiting? Sit na. Sit na then. Om. बुलाओ. Let's start. Go. Actually, जल्दी जाओ. Tell गीतू मैम कि they are all ready. अरे बैठ जाओ, कुछ नहीं होता, बैठ जाओ. Shift. Who's coming there? I want to start so that it gets over in time, and you guys are not ready to settle. Shift करो ना फटाफट. Girls. मला नको आहे पाणी. मला तुम्हाला बसवायचं आहे बस. खरंच बसा ना पटापट. What is this, Kavita? See then. Now who's here? Where's the DC? HRD, MM, DC कहाँ है? चलो जल्दी करो. MM Council. करो ना फटाफट से. Fill in this empty places so that we'll call. Who are here? यहाँ कौन है? वो पीछे वाले 3 देवियाँ प्लीज आगे आ जाओ. Come fast. Just finish it fast. Yeah, you guys are not realizing this. एक नीचे आओ उधर. अरे it's okay if you're not in a uniform. I'm not sending you anywhere. Sit. See that place is vacant. इधर ले आओ. हाँ, एक बार ध्यान रखो. Kavita, sit. Guys, hurry up. Piyusha. तिथे नाही, तिकडे मागे जा. जी बँक नंतर लवकर जा, तिथे जागा आहे, बसून जा. आकाश बस आता.
सर नहीं है तो मैं ही कर दूंगी अनाउंसमेंट.
May I now request Mr. Yatharth Jhavar sir to continue with the session.
Okay, am I audible? Good afternoon. And thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience. I really admire and appreciate that, though it was post bio break, but it's your lunch time. So I don't know how many of you are literally waiting for it. See, my tummy is calling for lunch, but I don't know. What about you guys? So let's get started. Do I need an introduction to give about me? So I don't mind. Let me know. Or if you want to hit directly to the questions, feel free to do so. Anything, anytime. Introduction? मेरा दिया गया था यार. That wasn't sufficient. आपसे. Okay, मेरे से. Yes, ma'am, please. Yeah, that's what. Correct. Let's skip यथार्थ ने क्या किया अब तक. Let's speak यथार्थ अब क्या कर रहा है organization में, right? Okay. That's a good thought. Thank you so much. And I'll definitely cover about how I started with the firm. It's been a rigorous